Gia smiled faintly as she approached the altar, but I caught the flash in her eyes. The red kippa I wore was not the one we'd agreed on. Leon had delivered it last night, claiming Gia approved it. I believed her. My son's expression stiffened when he saw me. Guests whispered Gia didn't greet me. I stood frozen. Had I just ruined their day? Leon offered a tight smile. That red scarf, folded in her hands, felt like a trap. Backstage, I tried to explain to Gia. Leon brought it late I thought, but Gia stepped back. Arms crossed. You wanted to stand out more than me? My chest tightened. No, your mother said, her jaw clenched. Of course she did. She turned away. My hands trembled as I clutched my purse. From the hallway, Leon watched us in silence, then disappeared. I felt like a fool, like I'd been played. The red scarf peeked from my bag like a guilty flag. At dinner, I sat 2 seats from Gia. Every toast skipped me. Leon raised her glass, beaming. To traditions respected, she said. My fingers clenched around my wine. I leaned toward Gia. Please believe me. She shook her head. You never even asked. Flashback last week. Leon insisted Red honored their family. I hesitated, but she smiled sweetly. Just trust me. I did. That trust now burned like acid. In the courtyard, I found my husband pacing. Leon's smug, he muttered. She planned this. I nodded. She set me up. Another flashback, Leon handing me the dress with a pat on my arm. You'll look beautiful. Then Gia's voice cracked through my memory. Mom picked the gold one for you. My stomach dropped. She hadn't known Leon lied to both of us. A cold realization settled in. This wasn't a misunderstanding, it was sabotage. I pulled Gia aside before the cake cutting. Your mom chose that dress for me. You picked gold, right? Her eyes widened. Yes, she told me you refused it. My breath caught. She lied. To us both. Gia's lips parted, then closed. Across the hall, Leon raised her phone. Filming us. Smile. She called. I didn't. Gia looked at me. Something soft flickering. Maybe, just maybe, she finally saw the truth. During the speeches, Leon stood. A family means harmony when we all respect boundaries. Subtle jab. I stood too. Respect begins with honesty. A hush fell. Gia's eyes locked on mine. Then she took the mic. Let's not pretend anymore, gasps. My mother manipulated this moment, but I see clearly now. Leon's smile faltered. I exhaled. Gia turned to me, voice steady. Donna, I owe you an apology. My eyes brimmed truth at last. Later that night, Gia found me alone on the patio. She draped the red scarf around my shoulders. This isn't about clothes, it's about trust. I nodded, voice shaky. I should have asked you first. She smiled faintly. We both should have asked more. The scarf felt warm. For the first time that day, I didn't feel alone. The next morning, Leon's chair at brunch was empty. Gia announced, she's resting. No one asked further. I wore the gold shawl Gia originally chose for me. She took my hand as guests snapped photos. You look beautiful, she whispered. I smiled. This wasn't just a wedding, it was the start of something mended. Something honest.